what? Based on the information we're looking at, and we can look back on the EDS computer, Bobby went 48 laps from his last stop, but we're only at lap 65. So there seems to be no way in the world as we look at Al Unser Jr. closing on Bobby as they come out. Will Bobby hold him off? No, he won't. But Al's got way too much speed into the corner.
Oh, that was a close one, though. I mean, I was really, if Bobby Rahal would have beat Little Al out, he was going to raise the price of poker pretty high there.
When you think of all the things that happen in a pit stop, the way the driver has to brake precisely to a stop, the crew has to do its many, many functions, 6 men over the wall, everybody has to get back on the racetrack. Notice that these two teams and drivers executed all that in exactly the same amount of time and have resumed their situation on the track.
Did you notice how fast that Bobby Rahal took off? It's lucky he didn't have the hose still hooked up.
That's Dean Hall in the subway car that separates them right now. By the way, what you can do here, there's a speed limit 80 miles an hour as we watch Michael make his stop as the leader of the race. 80 miles an hour while you're in the pits. But after you pass pit 28, all this area here you're looking at, you can throttle up on the pit exit and go as fast as you want. Look at that little smile. The master of the beach, Al Unser Jr., is the leader of the race. Got a car off the edge. It looks like Danny Sullivan. Looks like he almost got nailed, too. Now, can he get it around without somebody coming around that corner? He's going to go down and peek around the corner to make sure.
Remember, he's a former winner here. One of the few people ever to beat Al Unser Jr., and he beat him by having contact with him right about
Let's see if he's got a reverse here.
Yes,
by golly, he's got a reverse. We finally found a car that has a reverse that works.
You hear the gears grind as he put it in.
That reverse gear there, Sam, is so small. It's a wonder when they grind like that, it just doesn't clean the teeth right off of it.
Well, Wally Donovac, the chief steward in the drivers' meeting, was talking about, you know, you all have to have them, but he admitted that sometimes it's really hard to find that reverse gear. There's what got Danny in trouble, contact with Michael.
Yeah, and he doesn't feel like it was... Whoa! Now, boy, when you said it was close, Paul,
it was more close.
It was close.
Well, Michael Andretti didn't look like it was enough of a touch to really matter to Michael, and the way he's turning this lap, I don't think it was. Michael runs in 6th place. Danny Sullivan, of course, is in the pits. Not really a factor in this race, running in 16th now, down 1 lap.
Danny started with a really good race in Miami. He had a spin near the end of that, but he was running 3rd at the time. He needs to recover that top 10 form.
View the same action. Gets down inside, just barely touches.
Yeah, you couldn't see what happened. Michael's saying he's not waving his hand because he's mad. He's saying, I'm sorry, because he parked Danny right there in the corner.
You know, the body language of that is pretty subtle, though. I mean, I find a real difference from I'm sorry and I'm really angry with you. It's pretty subtle.
Danny's the one that's angry, I can promise you that.
35 laps to go.
As little Al leads, what do you think his favorite movie is, guys?
Oh, no.
It's the 10 Commandments, believe it or not. That's what it says in the press kit, and that's the movie that's on ABC tonight. What do you think of that? If he wins this race, it'll be a big evening for him.
Can we avoid this part, Paul?
There is the Posey fact of the race. Thank you so very much, Sam. You may now pack up and go home.
I told you I had one.
Yes, you did. You warned us, but I didn't believe it. Eddie Cheever drives for AJ. Was up running in 6th place at one time. Really has worked his way up through the field. Now runs in 10th after the stops. What a great guy. Well-spoken, friendly. You know, here's what gets me, Bobby. You look at Eddie Cheever and you look at A.J. Foyt. They seem to be opposites, total opposites.
Miles apart.
And yet both of them are racers and just seem to really get along with one another.
Eddie's been having problems. That him there in the Copenhagen car. He's been having problems during practice, but he's really been working hard at it. I think he's a good race driver.
You saw him start at 18th up to 10th.
I think part of the reason for their good relationship is Eddie is a historian of racing and one of the younger drivers that has the full appreciation for what A.J. Foyt really was and is. And I think that respect is the cornerstone of their relationship.
You know, you got to remember also on that car that A.J. Foyt is the engineer. And they don't have much help to do that. They have a lot of mechanics. They have good mechanics. But Foyt is the boss, and he calls the shots. And I think it's more than strange to think that Eddie and Foyt could get along like that, too.
There you see the 16 car, Stefan Johansson, just in front of him. Stefan started 24th. He now runs in 8th place.
One of the few men to lead a race this year. He led for 6 laps down in Australia. One of the great moments in his career. He really hung on to that car down there.
The best guess is it's a run to the finish. There's a great story on his helmet. You know, they had some green on Stefan's helmet, those leaves on the side. And finally, the team apparently convinced him green is not lucky in racing. He painted them blue for this week.
Well, there's that superstition theme again.
That's kind of like what Little Al, both of them changed the helmets for this race. Both of them are having a better race. I'm not a person believing in superstitions, but
is he having a problem now? No, apparently not. He gets back into the throttle. Wondered for a second there when Zampedri got around him whether Zampedri running well all day.
Is just having a really good day. Earlier he was up to second. That was because he hadn't pitted. But the truth is he's been running at least in midfield throughout the day, and he qualified very well.
And with that move, Zampedri picks up a position and now moves into 8th. Gary Gerald.
Scott Pruitt is in. As soon as they complete the change of the tires, they'll pull the fuel hose. This is what they call a short stop. He's off the jacks. The tires are changed. No, they're giving him more fuel. They're giving him the full complement. Now the hose runs empty. He's rolling in 16 seconds. That was not as quick as we'd expected from the crew.
Gave him a full tank of fuel. You saw it go up into the vent line there.
yeah, this is a place where Pat Patrick has a lot of experience. He called the shots on this. Him and Jim McGee been together for many years, and they really work good as a team.
So 31 laps to go. Here was what made a world of difference in the race as Bobby Rahal was coming out of the pits on the stop, and Al Unser Jr. was charging down the main straightaway, carrying a lot more speed into the corner, and sailed right off into the lead of the race, and what may well be a win. Back at the Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach. Great race here. More racing coming. Saturday, April 22nd, ABC's Wide World of Sports features an exciting new motorsport event when the NASCAR Super Trucks rumble into Bakersfield, California. And then on Saturday, April 30th, the National Hot Rod Association's fastest dragsters burn rubber in Atlanta at the NHRA Fram Nationals. Both are later this month. Great racing on ABC. Al Unser Jr. leads the race. None of the cars at the front of the field should have to make a pit stop. As we look at the running order, let's go down to Gary Gerald.
And while we were in that last break, Teo Fabi, who had been running third, came in. He got one of the best service jobs we've seen today, Paul. 11.6 seconds, and he was gone.
But dropped him to 7th, unfortunately. He was in the top 5.
Those were the guys, though, with Bobby and that group that got off a little bit early on. Bobby Rahal.
Let's go to Jack Arute. Bobby Rahal stops on the edge of the course, Jack.
We're going to go down and check on Rahal, but normally Team Penske, as you know, guys, is a very calm lot. Well, as you look down on his pit today, they are not calm at all. In fact, they think that they have gambled on this fuel consumption. They keep saying they can go the distance, but then again, they've also just said to me, hey, it's a lot like playing poker. Sometimes you have to bluff, even if you don't have 3 aces showing. So I'm not really all that certain as to whether they do indeed have the amount to go. And we're caught up with Jim Prescott. Let's see if we can find out from Jim what the report from Bobby Rahal was on his car.
Something happened with the gearbox, and it just seized up, and that's all.
Another gearbox takes another front runner out of this event in Long Beach, Paul.
Boy, interesting. Another powertrain problem. Rahal in a precarious position. They have not yet gone full course yellow.
You can bet when little Al comes around, sees Rahal sitting there, he's going to be told pretty quick by his crew that it's a transmission problem. It's going to make everybody rethink their positions on the transmission. The transmissions by now have been worked hard all day.
And Jack, of course, just to underscore what you said about the Penske fuel issue, remember that just a week ago at Phoenix, they had to pull their lead car out of the race. Emerson Fittipaldi was leading.
We go full course yellow for Al Unser Jr. Actually, the yellow, of course, for Bobby Rahal, but Al Unser Jr. picks up some advantage and then loses it to this full course yellow. So his teammate, Emerson Fittipaldi, will close in Michael Andretti's third. We'll be back after this message and a word from our ABC stations. Pook, the promoter here at Long Beach, who invented this event, has done it again with a beautiful day, gigantic crowd, the Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach. We are still under a full course yellow. Al Unser Jr. will be the leader. Let's go to the pits. Jack Arute.
Well, it's an interesting situation. We've talked about the problems with Team Penske all year, where they're back where we've seen them so many times, running 1-2. Rick Mears, who calls a lot of the shots in terms of advising, is huddled over here checking everything with Roger Penske. Rick, one of the tough things when you've got a situation under a yellow like this is it aids your fuel consumption, takes you out of the concerns for the finish, but do you bring a guy in? Don't you? You know, what's the thought process here?
Sorry. You just got to play it by ear and see where we're at. You know, the car's running pretty well, and you know, I think we just got to kind of keep this pace going and just get it home. Bring it home. That's the key.
One of the things, guys, to watch around here is the way they work. You can see Roger Penske here trying to check with the people on telemetry. They are in a very proactive mode right now, and they're trying to decide, should they come in, shouldn't they? But I checked with Chuck Sprague, his teammate who calls the shots on Emerson Fittipaldi. They insist that they're fine. Let's go to Gary Gerould.
Well, the familiar face belongs to A.J. Foyt, and A.J.'s got to be one of the happiest guys in this pit road. It looks like your car's working as good today, A.J., as it has any time this season.
Well, it has. We're gaining, and we're getting ready to go green, so let me talk to the driver. I'll talk to y'all later.
All right, Eddie Cheever is running 5th. He was 3rd here in 1991. They're excited. They're looking for a chance to get on the podium, and this yellow flag has helped them dramatically on fuel. They were very concerned.
And what do you think Eddie's going to get told? Stand on the gas.
Look at little Al pulling away. That's what he wants. He wants a little gap.
Well, he's going to get it, too.
Between him and Emerson.
Andre Ribeiro comes into the pits as they come up to speed once again. There's Fittipaldi, the second-place car. Christian Fittipaldi, the green and yellow car, looks like a rippling Brazilian flag, runs in 3rd place, but he is well back in the order. Penske cars right together. Let's look for Fittipaldi. And there he is as he gets touched by Michael.
Michael really got rattled by 2 cars there at one time, back and forth.
He and Michael are battling for position. The battle is for 3rd. Christian Fittipaldi is in it at this moment.
But Michael, of course, has set his sights on catching the 2 Penske cars. That's why he's trying. He's frustrated that he's so far back of them right now. Whoa! That's a block by Fittipaldi.
Now, Fittipaldi is blocking. There's no question about that.
Doesn't work.
Here's where Michael went off. Late break. He's okay this time.
So Michael Andretti gets past him and moves into 3rd place. Now where's Eddie Cheever? He should be back there behind Christian somewhere.
Michael's ready. Watch him get a little bit tweaky as he comes off the corner there. He's really trying hard.
He took a deep breath. He knows if he has any chance to win this race, he's got to move through this traffic very fast and set up his attack on Emerson and Little Al.
Frank Freon, the 64 car there.
Renting the ride for the weekend.
Bad place for Christian to catch him. Yeah, that was that bad corner there.
So Christian is caught up just a little bit. While we're watching this, let's go to Jack Arute.
Well, Bobby Rahal, it just seems as if after a great start in the beginning of the season, now these little mechanical gremlins are striking Hogan Racing.
Well, it's, yeah, we lost the gearbox today. Why, I have no idea, but the car ran competitively, so I'll take that, and we'll get the reliability.
A little bit different situation for you because you're also part of the ownership team here. What does that do to the mindset of the driver when you know you've got these mechanical problems?
Well, I think more importantly, we know we've got the pace, and that's what you have to have first and foremost to win a championship, and we'll get the reliability down.
Championship, that's the word that's so important to this team, Paul.
Well, speaking of championships, if you total, and this is Emerson. Wow. He was running in 2nd. How'd he get there? Is that a pull-off or a spin-off? Looks like a spin-off.
Don't see any damage on the car. He set it at an odd angle for it to be a mechanical problem, so.
Now just pulled off. Now what they're doing is they're just pouring some water on there, cool everything down so that the cowling doesn't catch fire. IndyCar safety crew is right there as well, but 2nd place car very quickly to the edge of the course, but Fittipaldi staying into the cockpit.
Apparently he'd been smoking, Paul. Somebody had been smoking on the car. He's just sitting at an awfully weird angle just to have a mechanical failure.
So that takes everybody forward. Here's Eddie Cheever as he comes around Frank Freon and now runs in 4th place. Also Gugelman sitting just behind. There he is as he tries to get inside Cheever. Not a battle for position, but definitely some racing.
With Emerson out, the gap between first and second, Michael Andretti, is 6 seconds.
Gooselman runs in 11th. Cheever now runs in 4th. Let's go to Jack.
Well, Paul, let's update you on Emerson Fittipaldi. Not a gearbox, not a problem with a header, simply an engine that has expired.
Boy, surprising report.
I know. We don't hear that very often, especially from the Penske